But let's level up. Now, something I want to have is I want to have 10 dexterity, and we have 12 strength, so that's good enough. And I actually want to boost my intelligence a little bit so that I can be able to use some sorceries when we get the ability to do it. So now we've used most of the souls we have. There's an NPC sitting over here. This is the Crestfallen Warrior. You learn that basically because you talk to him and he says he's crestfallen, but I guess that's what the NPC is called by other sources. And if you attack him, you can't attack him. He's quite strong at this point.
Well, what do we have here? You must be a new arrival. Let me guess. Fate of the undead, right? Well, you're not the first. But there's no salvation here. You'd have done better to rot in the undead asylum. But too late now. Well, since you're here, let me help you out. There are, actually, 2 bells of awakening. One's up above in the undead church. The other is far, far below, in the ruins at the base of Blight Town. Ring them both, and something happened. Brilliant, right? Not much to go on, but I have a feeling that won't stop you. So, off you go. It is why you came, isn't it? To this accursed land of the undead?
So he'll just basically sit here on this log, and he will give you surprisingly helpful advice throughout the game. It's rather cryptic until you know exactly what he's talking about, but pretty much everything he says is true, and pretty much everything he says can be used as a hint to find things.
Ah, your face. You're practically hollow. But who knows? Going hollow could solve quite a bit.
Well, I take that back. Some of the things he says are not necessarily true.
What? Restoring your humanity? Well, there are a few ways to go about it. Collect it bit by bit from corpses. Or you can butter up a cleric and get yourself summoned. And the quickest way, although I'd never do it, is to kill a healthy undead and pillage its humanity. Coveting thy neighbor is only human, after all.
So he just basically told us how to get humanity. You can get it from corpses, such as the boss we killed, or over here in the well. You can get some humanities from that. 3 actually. If you invade people and kill them, you get humanity. Some NPCs will drop it if you kill them. There's another way of stealing it from NPCs later. And if you are summoned by someone, they say butter up a cleric can do it, but clerics can't really do it specifically. Pretty much everyone can. And there's not anything special as far as clerics doing it. You'll get humanity for helping someone beat a boss. And he says, the way he says that is rather sinister, implying that he might attack you to get your humanity. At least that's what it seems like to me, but he doesn't do that if you come through here with humanity.
What are you looking at? Don't try anything clever. You might regret it.
He thinks you're going to kill him after you tell him that healthy undead. Pretty much everybody you see in the game is undead. So this guy just has some humanity. But if you kill him, he doesn't drop anything. You'll get like 1,000 souls or something like that. He's quite difficult at this point, but you can kill him.
What? You want to hear more? Oh, that's all we need. Another inquisitive soul. Well, listen carefully then. One of the bells is up above in the undead church, but the lift is broken. You'll have to climb the stairs up the ruins and access the undead burg through the waterway. The other bell is back down below the undead burg, within the plague-infested Blight Town. But I'd die again before I step foot in that cesspool.
So, he basically told us what we have to do here. Gave us a bit of direction, if you will. That up behind us, if I can get past this grass, is The waterway he's referring to in the stairs are over there. Blighttown is a bit harder to see from here.
Bloody hell, what is it now? You ask too many questions.
Eventually he'll run out of things to say.
What now? I'm not up for chatting. Leave me alone.
So he's done with us for now. Oh, something of note, this well. You saw there was a message on it before. If I can do this correctly, you can actually jump down that well. But when you do, you die. This will demonstrate something a little bit, I guess, better than in the boss fight. That when you die, you're still don't appear exactly where you died, but a few seconds back from there, in a safe spot usually. This means that when you fall off a cliff or fall down and die from falling damage or something like that, your souls will basically be where you were when you fell. So since he's done talking to us, and progress is that way, let's go take a look around Firelink Shrine. Nothing over here. There's some stairs down there, over by Crestfallen Bro, but we'll go down that way later. We'll be going down that way before we do anything else, but let's look around Firelink first. So this is kind of the main building of Firelink Shrine. It's just got a pool of water. And kind of a depression in the middle of it. We'll figure out what that's for later. And kind of a statue of some lady with a baby. And a chest that's already been opened. And a pot. Screw you, pot. You can see an item up there. If we go over here, there's a set of stairs. Oh, and our buddy Crow there. You can actually attack him. I don't know if you can kill him or not, or what happens if you do. This is the graveyard. Yeah, let's do the graveyard. Well, actually, no, because we're going to have to come there later after we do something. So let's do this stuff in a minute. I didn't take any damage there, but if you fall a certain distance, you will die. You will take damage. If you fall far enough, you will die. There's a spell later that will make you take less damage when you fall. Actually, that'll make you take no damage when you fall. And I believe that's also a function of your dexterity. So here we pick up some firebombs. Firebombs are basically disposable items that you can use to throw at enemies. And it deals fire damage, and even if you're a magic user, they're still very useful. I would say they're not useful the whole game, because there's an upgraded version that you can actually start the game with. Ooh, over here is a resonance point, and as you can see, it's kind of lighting up our miracle there. If you use a miracle next to the resonance point, that will make your miracle more powerful. And these are caused by people using miracles in the area online. Way of the White is supposedly supposed to get them more often, but I'm not sure if that's true or not. A lot of the things about game mechanics are kind of rumors and such like that. So if we go up here, this is towards the broken lift he was talking about. We have another NPC over here.
Hello there. I believe we are not acquainted. I am Petrus of Firelink. Have you business with us? If not, I'd prefer to keep a distance, if possible.
This guy looks rather rotund here. He is... well, he's Petrus, as he said.
Hello there. I realize that I have requested that we retain our distance. But I also want you to know that it is not meant in ill will. Here, take this, as a token of peace. No, go ahead. It's for you.
She gives us copper coin. Let's take a look at it. I keep pushing the Y button to look at that. It's down the bottom here. A copper coin of Old Man McLife. God of medicine and drink. So this is actually not used for anything.
Oh my, you again. Oh, I know. How about this? I have to await my companions here anyway. So what if I were to teach you some miracles? Would that please you?
Yeah, go ahead. We need miracles.
Very well. Then first, a covenant with the gods.
We already have this covenant. The way the white is basically the gods, I guess it's like the default kind of religion.
Now let me share my miracles. Only their ultimate effectiveness will be determined by your efforts and your faith.
Yeah, basically, the better your faith is, the better the power of your spells will be for miracles. And they also require a certain amount of faith. Here we can learn gestures from various NPCs, which you can use with the back button. We can also join this covenant again later. If we ever leave this covenant and want to rejoin, we can join it again. He sells various miracles. Great Heal, which is heals a lot more, but you only have one use. Requires 14 faith and costs a lot. Not all that useful. Homeward is basically warps you back to the bonfire. Requires 18 faith. It's quite an expensive spell. 8,000 souls. And there's an item that mimics this, and I don't really find it all that useful, even as a faith character, to have this equipped, since it only has one use. Although that doesn't really matter, since it warps you back to the bonfire and you replenish all your spells. Force is probably the most useful one that he has. It basically knocks enemies down, or back, depending on that, and it blocks arrows when you use it. And it's quite quick to cast, and only requires 12 faith. Seek Guidance is kind of a specialized thing. It basically can tell you how good the player set messages are by showing you the rating on it. And Heal, we can get another copy of Heal, which if we equip 2 of them, if we had 2 attunement slots, we could have 10 uses of Heal, which is sometimes useful for some of the other spells. Heal, not particularly. So that's what he has. He also has talismans, which are basic talismans. As you can see, it only has a B rating for faith, but it only requires 10 faith. So if you're not a cleric, you don't start with this canvas talisman anyway. But as you can see, the magic adjustment would be lower than the ones we have right now. But the Thorlin talisman over here, which costs 5 times as much, only has a C in its faith scaling. It only requires 10 faith, but it has a higher magic adjustment, and it says it's not dependent on faith, but it is to a certain extent because, well, it has a scaling on it. But until you get to about 30 faith, this is still going to be better than whatever other one you can have. But right now, I don't really need it.
Come again. The effectiveness of the teachings depend upon your faith.
And we could talk to him, but I'm going to wait to do that until I have, well, some other stuff. To use that, as I said, you use the back button, and you can kind of set them to slots here by pushing the Y button, and you can equip various ones. The shrug one here is going to do things. And when you're playing online with other people, you can't type anything in or anything like that. This was originally a console game. You basically just use gestures. So up here we have another item. Soul of a Lost Undead. We could jump over onto that roof and kind of skirt our way around, but there's no real reason to do that. But over here is the lift that the Crestfallen Warrior was talking about. And as you can see, there's no cars here. And currently is inactive or broken, as he says. If we roll down here, though, we get into an area underneath, which allows us to get to a special area, which has a bunch of treasure chests in it. Let's open them up. So here we get some Homeward Bones. This replicates the Homeward spell. I don't want to keep doing that. Good to have these equipped in your slot. Return to the last bonfire you rested at. And these are actually bones you pick up from the bonfire. Why you can't just do that. I think they would be better if they were kind of a function like an Estus flask. So you could carry one at a time that replenish when you go to a bonfire. But I guess that would make the game too easy. Here in this box, we get a Morning Star and a Talisman. The Morning Star is similar to the mace we already have. It does slightly less damage, but it's also a hammer type. But as you can see, the attack type is thrust. And it has some. It says it has a sharp spike on its pommel, but it has spikes on the head. So I don't know what that's talking about. And it deals bleed damage. At the bottom there, you can see the auxiliary effects. And the first symbol, that little brown circle, is bleed. The next one is poison. The third one is holy, and the fourth one is occult or unholy or whatever you want to call it. For us right now, this is basically an inferior weapon because it has lower scaling and lower damage, and well, it weighs the same. And most of the enemies we are killing either in 1 or 2 hits, which means that bleed would not help us. So, here we get some cracked red eye orbs, which are used for invading other people. And you basically use it to invade somebody while you're to get some humanity. And as you can see there, it says normally limited to the dark wraiths of Kath or Kaith, or however you pronounce that. Who is somebody. We will see more references to that stuff later. That guy's getting some treasure. Bye, dude. He had a longsword. He's probably a warrior. So, here we get a Lloyd's Talisman, which is kind of a specialized item that has a couple of interesting uses, but mostly what it does is prevents Estus recovery within a limited area. As you can see, the clerics normally fight the undead. This is used for fighting them to prevent them from healing. The enemies in the game, I guess the more organized enemies in the game that are undead humanoids will oftentimes use Estus flasks. The undead soldiers, for example, will do so, but the dudes who don't have any armor or anything and just kind of flail their swords at you will not. So, we are kind of trapped here on this ledge, so the only place we can go is down into the graveyard. When we do so, some skeletons will spawn. These guys are kind of dangerous. They have a shield and a scimitar. These two do. And these guys are quite tough if you don't have the right weapons. And they're kind of not worth fighting because they aren't worth very much souls. But since we have a bludgeoning weapon, we can kind of take them to town here. As you can see, I'm not dealing a whole lot of damage compared to other enemies. They're quite resilient. And I blocked my attacks there. One of the things you can do is you can kind of knock them off the edge. Ooh, that was bad. If you do a strong attack... Oop, didn't time that right. They'll fly back a little bit and fall down into a pile of bones. You can also use the... I guess this is the poise damage effect from the weapon to kind of stagger them over and over, which basically makes them fall down into a pile of bones to just kind of stun lock them. You can do this with the Morning Star as well. If you deal enough damage with any weapon, it will stagger them as well. But this one is particularly good at that. So, you can see an item down there. So let's go ahead and loot this graveyard. We see some more piles of bones, which indicates there's more skeletons here. You kind of get the jump on this one here. Just knock them straight off the edge. Now you can backstab skeletons. I didn't manage to do so there. There we go. You can also riposte them, but it's kind of dangerous because they have really fast attacks. But since he did a slow attack, I decided to demonstrate it. You can kill them quite quickly that way. The scimitars they have, by the way, are curved swords, which are dexterity-based weapons that... we'll probably get one of them later. They deal bleeding damage, when they hit. And the one over here was using a two-handed one, which I think is called a falchion. Or falchion, or how do you pronounce that? Which is basically just two-handed version. Probably requires more strength. But those are dexterity-based weapons. Up here, we'll see a new friend. And by friend, I mean enemy. The big skeletons. Now, since we have the mace, we can fight him legitimately. But he's rather tough, and he's got a really big sword. I'd rather not fight him amongst the graves here. It's kind of hard to get your footing good. It'll also deal bleeding damage. If you hit him with strong attack, it will stagger him. Right now he's blocking. One of the things these skeletons can also do is they can parry and riposte you, which is dangerous. But the easiest way to deal with these guys is to kind of stand over here, or anywhere near the edge actually, and just kind of get themselves to walk off the edge. Or you can try to stagger them and knock them off the edge. There we go. There we go. Straight off the edge. And those guys will give you 10 times as many souls as the other skeletons. So since we're out of combat, we can use our Heal Miracle to heal rather than an Estus Flask. Which is basically the only real use of the heal spell. So, we picked up a spear back there, a winged spear. The basic spear we haven't seen yet, but and nobody starts with one. Basically with spears, they deal thrusting damage, and you can use them while you have a shield. This one is a slightly different version of a spear, and has higher requirements for parameters. They're basically dexterity-based weapons. Probably won't be getting too much into dexterity weapons with this character, since we started with quite a low dexterity. But you'll notice I did raise it because I wanted something specific. So over here we have probably the most dangerous group in the graveyard. There's one of those big skeletons and 3 smaller ones. And they are guarding this item, this Zweihander, which we will look at after we deal with this problem. So it sounds like we got the big one following us. Yep. So let's go back up to the ledge here. There's another thing you can kind of do with these guys, which I will try to demonstrate here. If you go up here and then downward attack them, I actually just kind of jumped off and Goomba stomped him there. You can knock him off the ledge there. I didn't attack him the right way. See, I'm almost dead here. If that purple bar goes all the way up, it'll inflict the bleed status, which will deal a load of damage to us. I'm not too worried about Estus Flasks here, considering that we're pretty close to that bonfire. Come on, bro. That was bad timing. I'm not really used to the timing on the mace all that much. You can actually damage them while they're doing stuff, but you can't stagger them until they're already reformed. Oh, we actually dropped an item. They usually would drop items that they have equipped, like the scimitar here. They can drop the shield that they have as well, and if they're wearing any armor, most of the time they can drop the armor that they're wearing. So let's look at this scimitar here. Small curved sword. The different weapons have different attack animations. We can't actually use this weapon, so I can't. Oops. I can't really show off any of the attacks because we just kind of do weird. Oh no, we can still show it. That's the heavy attack, but instead of a kick with the scimitar, you do this, which I don't prefer that to the kick. The kick is usually a lot more useful. Very cheap stamina-wise to attack with that. Fast attacks that deal bleeding damage, which is kind of good. Oh, the other weapon. Yeah, I forgot this. The Zweihander. This is an ultra great sword. gigantic straight greatsword. It requires a lot of strength, 24 strength. This is one of the one of my favorite weapons, at least. I was going to say one of the best, but I'm not sure the consensus on that. But it's one of my favorite weapons. You can it basically makes the game incredibly easy if you know how to use it. It's sort of a finesse weapon, if that makes any sense for an item that's completely strength based, because it's so slow. But once you get the timing down on it, you can just basically dominate whatever you're attacking, even larger enemies. It deals so much damage and so much poise damage that you can stagger pretty much anyone, and even knock enemies to the ground with a strong attack. So let's try to get a better example of what I was trying to talk about before. Okay, here we go. Not quite. Weapons will also have different different attacks for when you use them one-handed or two-handed. For example. Usually they're only slightly different, but... Oh, that guy fell down there. I missed. You can also block with a two-handed weapon, but it's not very efficient. Okay, so that clears out that group. There's also a couple more items in here, so let's keep looking around. Can see a couple more skeletons down here. Now, as far as just killing them for souls goes, I wouldn't recommend it. Here we get the Caduceus round shield, which is a similar shield to the one we already have. We'll take a look at that once we're done fighting these guys. You can see that guy kind of doing that rolling attack. Skeletons can do things like that. We'll see better examples of that later. Oops, I'm kind of stuck. Oh, I just activated the group behind me too. So there are another 4 skeletons after me. Let's take the better part of valor over here. Oops, pressed the wrong button there. Let's show off the fire bombs. Oops, I missed. There we go, we can hit a bunch of them all at once. We actually killed one doing that. Want to be careful. Just be used to having your Estus flask equipped. You might try to heal and throw a firebomb there. Let's not use firebombs anymore. You can get more of those later, so don't worry about those. Here you. Ah. Kind of in a rough spot here. Now notice I'm taking a little bit of damage when I'm blocking. It's because my shield doesn't have 100% damage block. Now see there, I was staggered, so I couldn't continue blocking with my shield. Killing 4 of these at once is not very easy. There I kind of got caught by a combo. See how he's holding his sword up like that? That means he was trying to parry. I knew that was going to happen. trying to focus on that one over there. It's getting me killed. That one. There we go. Now we're down to 2. If you're far enough away, you can... Okay. I was hoping I'd get the attack in there while they were doing that. That wasn't close enough. That guy just jumped himself off the edge. You gotta be careful close to the edge yourself, because you can easily run yourself off the edge. So we used all of our healing items, because I activated 4 of them at once, but we came out of that relatively okay. Got almost 2,000 souls now, which is a little bit less than we came out of the asylum with. Now, none of these guys are mini bosses or bosses or anything like that, so they will all respawn if you rest at a bonfire. Down here is another area we can go to later. Right now, we would be in very poor shape if we tried to do this right now. But this is the Catacombs. Actually, go into here to kind of show the name here. The Catacombs. There's a lot of dangers in here, enemies in here, including more skeletons. These are actually tougher, and when you kill them, they will respawn unless you have a specific type of weapon equipped. So let's get out of there. I think they will die permanently if you knock them off of these ledges to the bottomless pits, but if they die from falling damage and you don't have the normal the weapon that is required to kill them equipped, they will actually still respawn. So over here, we can actually pick up one of the gifts we can start the game with, the binoculars. The binoculars are one of my favorite items. They're not too useful, and obviously you would never pick them as a gift, because you can pick up another one, and you can equip them to a use slot, or just use them from the inventory, and you can use them to zoom in on items. You can do this with a bow as well, but bows weigh something, which means that if you are kind of close to your limit as far as how much stuff you can equip before you get slowed down or something like that, you may not want to have a bow equipped, and you can use these to look at stuff. You can kind of see things in the distance. It won't automatically draw enemies. Oh, and I usually will try to hit B to cancel out of that, but you don't want to do that, because if you're standing next to a ledge, for example, these bones are kind of ragdolling around. The Havoc physics. You can jump yourself off a ledge or something doing that. It's not a good idea. So don't push B while you have those equipped. Here is a bloodstain. This is somebody else's bloodstain. You can see here somebody was fighting over here. How did they die? Okay. Looks like they were probably fighting skeletons. The guy had a spear equipped, so most likely he got that spear from the graveyard. Over here we get another item. Soul of a Lost Undead. And now up there is that roof I was saying we could walk around to. And you can walk around to get this item if you really wanted to. There's not really any particular reason to do that unless you wanted to. And I'm going to kind of go around this way because there's another item we can get down there. Another good place to fight the skeletons is to force them out onto this area. This is where I knocked the big skeleton off. They can kind of get stuck back there. Don't try to fight them with you back there, though, because you'll get stuck. You can actually jump down along this little ledge here if you really wanted to. Come out over here. You can kind of, you can jump down off of here and land on that guy if you do it right, but, Anything else to say right now? No, he doesn't. Okay, that was because somebody kindled a bonfire. When somebody else kindles a bonfire, as somebody just kindled it again, it'll give us an extra one. It'll actually go past our maximum. So before I level up, let's go do something. It is one of the good bonuses of having the online stuff enabled.
Oh, hello. I will teach you miracles. A promise is a promise, after all.
So, let's talk to him.
My companions are Milady and her young knights. She is young, but burdened by an undead mission. We are her defenses, to keep her from harm.
He said that they weren't, his companions weren't here yet, and they'll be here later, but we'll see them.
An undead mission? Regrettably, I cannot share that with you. But you are my pupil. Perhaps if you show your faith.
He wants us to bribe him to tell us the storyline involved with these characters. It basically costs 100 souls based on your level. So I'm level 5, so it costs 500 souls. If I talk to him immediately, it would only be 200.
Very well. I can surely tell you, of all people, undead clerics are given a mission to seek kindling. Kindling is the art of feeding bonfires with humanity. Through kindling, we shall one day be granted magnificent powers.
As I said, kindling gives you Estus flasks. I don't know what they're talking about there. I don't think we can afford any of his miracles. Nope.
Come again. The effectiveness of the teachings depend upon your faith.
So that's pretty much all we can do in this area. I think I picked everything up. So, let us go down these stairs. Actually, let's level up first. Let's get our endurance up a point. Oh man, we're really close to another level. Endurance is an important stat because it dictates your stamina and your maximum weight allowance. So let's go up here and kill a couple guys here. We're not going to continue this far. So, this is a new enemy we haven't seen yet. These are the undead warriors. Oops. They're sort of an upgrade to the kind of crappy guys we fought before. And they have that combo, which is very dangerous. I was trying to counter him, but killed him in one hit with the mace with the strong attack, so it's not really necessary. That's enough souls. As you can see, the amount of souls we got from them that we killed in one hit was more than the ones we got from the skeletons. So, killing the skeletons for souls is not a good idea. We'll continue that way later. They have their own set of gear that they drop, and I think the weapon that one had was a short sword. So, I don't have any other spells, but let's just get our endurance up for now.